continue discussion of property maintenance amendments and establishment of a rental inspection district. Last year I heard from Councilman Morrison that the possibility of getting rid of the rental inspection district and going forward with the property maintenance was something that he wanted to explore. Is that correct, Councilman Morrison?
That's correct, Mayor.
Now, having said that, if we,
If I may, was there anything else to come off or on liaison, or did you catch everything, Joe? Was there anything
Number
else?
6.
I just didn't want us to go too far ahead unless we got everything we needed for liaison. I assume we're removing the tethering of dogs. Towing boards,
code board's finished.
so we can. Sorry, I didn't want us to.
That's okay.
miss any-
No problem. One thing about it, when we get to the meeting, we can take it off too. Okay, moving forward with that idea with Councilman Morrison, we would have to finish up with our reading the next meeting, and it will be on the agenda for up or down for the property maintenance and rental. And then we would have to re-advertise after the next meeting to go with property maintenance only. Even though they were both advertised together, they were advertised together. Is that correct? Is that, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you understand?
Thought they were separate.
They were separate, but they were joined. We advertised both separately, but they were joined so that both were tied together. So to clean it up, we're gonna put it on the agenda. If you wanna move forward with it, fine. If not, and then we'll move forward with just the, if that's what you like to do, with just the property maintenance.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. So if they're both together, it's right back to where we were.
Yes, and that'll come on the agenda next Monday night to vote. Yes or no?
So you're saying, let's just say it goes no, then it comes
They'll
up,
bring it back,
then it can be separated.
be separated, re-advertised, property maintenance only. Is that correct, Doug?
That's correct.
Okay.
How so?
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, it was advertised as one unified ordinance. So if you're going to consider just separating them as separate ordinances, the public, in order to be able to have clarity of thought, would require that the ordinances be separated and have a public hearing on a separate ordinance.
So you have to re-advertise. So why don't we just re-advertise it right now?
Because you already have
You have to
something on the
clean off
table.
You already
floor.
have something up that's already been advertised.
It's already been advertised, it's already on the floor.
So if something's voted down though, you can at that point stop it from going to a second reading and re-advertise it differently.
Because you're taking the rental agreement out. So you're not advertising the same thing again.
I mean, I trust you on this. I don't remember when we've done this before.
I can't remember.
We've never had any dual
Can't remember that we
advertisements.
had.
One thing about it, if everybody votes no, then you can always bring it back if it doesn't work the way you thought it was gonna work. Because you voted with the group. So it cleans up what.
I just wonder, like, isn't that kind of more confusing to people when we bring something up to vote? It gets voted down, and then it turns around and is re-advertised.
But it would be re-advertised as a singular ordinance.
Of a property maintenance code, period.
Because
Right now, it's advertised as property maintenance code amendments and establishment of a rental.
Because what you're
Project.
voting on is you're saying, we don't want this whole unified ordinance. You may want part of it, or you may want the other part of it, but you don't want the whole thing.
Okay.
And we can't separate the two because we have a motion on the floor that's still there that we need to take action on. And then we can move forward with the property maintenance.
What motion is that? I know we've advertised something, but it actually hasn't ever come up for vote.
But we haven't
Yes.
voted on this yet.
I mean, it's coming for its first reading. That's
We
the motion
tabled
that's
it for a
currently on the
while,
floor.
talked about it, took it back to
Delay
work.
we
Got it.
delayed
Okay.
until we brought it back to work.
Got it, got it,
Yeah,
okay.
you postponed.
Yeah.
Chris, you got anything to add?
Yeah, so, just so we can move on with clarity.
Okay.
So, I understand what's ahead of us on Monday. And I pretty much can see what's gonna happen on Monday. With that being said, how do I separate it at that point? Is the motion made on Monday, or is this
I'll
basically
move
we
it
start
forward
all over
and
again?
re-advertise.
Did start over,
How do you start with the advertisement?
put it back on the
Put
agenda.
it back on the agenda. I control the agenda, so I'll make sure it's on there.
Well, we'll advertise it. I'll start the paperwork, be ready to put it in the paper on Tuesday. And that'll start the clock on the advertising and when the first public hearing will be.
And then we can get into the weeds of what actually the property maintenance, what the cost or whatever information that we need. We'll start working on that staff.
And that way the public will be clear as to what is being proposed
I
to
understand.
town council, and they'll know what you're voting on.
Gene?
Well, I have one question. If we vote on it Monday night, say it's a no for everybody, or a yes for everybody, say it's a no for everybody, don't we still have to hold the second meeting?
No.
No, because
It
it's
doesn't
in
die
the
at that
town
point?
code that if you vote no on the first reading, that's the end
So
of it.
everybody votes no on the
If
first
it
reading,
fails-
it's dead.
If
Yeah.
it
If
fails,
one
it's dead.
votes yes, it's gotta go to the second time.
No.
No, it
Why?
If
fails.
it fails, it
It's
fails.
in town code.
Are we positive about that? Because I've been through these things a lot.
No, it
I
fails.
thought that rather it fail, because the people could change their mind on the second reading.
For
I've
some,
changed my mind on
Gene,
second readings.
most times people will vote for something on the first reading because there's going to be another opportunity on the second meeting to reverse what they, you know.
Well, I'm just saying, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that.
First reading, if it
What's the
dies, it
difference
dies.
saying yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It dies. If it dies, it dies, and that's it. Then we move on to,
I have a question with that, but I don't know.
okay. Well, we'll check Robert's rules just.
Because I think, I always thought that
Yeah.
if you set up for it, if it doesn't, in other words, if it goes down, you still got to have your second reading. So it can be completely done away with.
Logically, why would you want to vote on something that's already been killed?
I don't know, I'm saying, that's what we've always done in the past. Because you have your first reading, then you have your second, third, and final reading, that's the second vote.
Doug, check on that
Always
just
done
to
it.
make
I'll
sure you
check
have
on
it.
it, but here. What, move on, I'll check on it right now.
Okay. Council discussion goals, time permitting. Anybody have anything? I have a list. You have pen and paper, I have a list of invites on January the 10th at 6:30. The Elks is sponsoring a first responders dinner, and they have invited council and your spouse, and along with staff with Doug and Joe and Jennifer.
When was that?
January the 10th at 6:30 at the Elks. January 6:30.
My email said 6 tomorrow.
I'm going to have Jennifer to put all these dates out because we need to know who all's coming so we can give them all by the 9th. Second one is January the 20th. Company One is having their dinner, and we're invited at 6. Staff also with spouse. January 22nd, LFK is having its second Great Kindness Challenge.
January 22nd.
January the 22nd. Don't have a time yet, but I'm thinking it's probably about 8:30. Councilman Seelock went with me last year. We had a blast. What we do, we go down and make a tunnel, and all the kids come in. We make a lot of noise and have a great time. January the 25th is the Shenandoah Spirits Trail from 10 to 12 a.m. Backroom Brewery. January 27th, they're having their banquet at Company 10. Council and staff is invited with their spouse. Please let Jennifer know by the 9th if you can attend these 4,
What's the last one?
27th. Yeah. And that's at 6 o'clock.
We'll send you all an email with the date.
Would you please? Okay. Yes, Doug?
I just confirmed that ordinances which fail to pass during the first reading of the council shall fail at that time and shall not be placed on a subsequent meeting agenda for 12 months unless one of the following occurs. There's a change in membership of the council, number one. 2, one council member who initially voted against the ordinance concurs with its placement on the agenda. 3, an ordinance that was defeated for lack of a second is again placed on the agenda with the concurrence of any councilman who did not make the initial motion for approval. So it's dead.
Okay, thank you.
Does it change over in council?
All right, anybody else?
Does it change in council?
Jeremy?
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You guys skipped over that so fast at the end, I think you can't say anything, but I was wanted to know if you desired, I've been in conversation with the town of Strasburg about potentially cost sharing with the property maintenance code. And so if that's something that you're interested in.
That's
He's
just
spending
property
time with them
maintenance
pursuing
code, not rental along with.
just the property maintenance code.
Okay, well, that's something we'll discuss once we
Can that be on
get the other
a
motion
work
off.
session between the advertising before that becomes public hearing? Before it goes to public hearing?
I don't see why not. I mean, we've been in no hurry on this. We've been operating on this for 6 months.
Okay.
So we'll clear the floor and advertise on Tuesday, and we'll look into sharing. Good possibility. Because we have to find out what the cost is going to be too, you know, where we're going to put the person, you know, so. We'll start all over.